This Week in Astrology video forecast for the week of March 31st, 2014. I'm Benjamin Bernstein, your host, and I am an astrologer and a shamanic healer and an awakening activator. And it's my pleasure to once again be bringing you this week what's up for this week astrologically for everyone in general, and also to give you some ideas on how you can make the best use of these astrological energies. What's new this week? Well, revolutionary transformation rekindles once again as a Sun-Uranus-Pluto T-square peaks. You can keep your words civil, hopefully, as Mars quincunxes Mercury, and you can enjoy an enhanced flow of creativity and spirituality as Venus enters Pisces. That's the overview. Let's dive into our individual days of the week and see how we can make the best use of each of those. On Monday, March 31st, we only have one small event, a void of course moon kicking off, and that's happening at 4:07 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. On Tuesday, April 1st, no fooling, we have the resolution of that void moon, and that means the moon's coming into its next sign, Taurus, at 1:21 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. The moon in Taurus is a lovely time to get cooked up with nature. Go out and remember you're a human doing. Rather, you're not a human doing, you are a human being. Great time to indulge the five senses and feel grounded, solid, and really strong in your earthly form. Also here on Tuesday, we have a square between Jupiter and the Sun in Aries. And I'm not going to interpret this thing individually, but I will say it is part of the T-square peaking tomorrow, with Sun, Jupiter, Uranus, and Pluto all coming together. So rather than give you a unique breakdown on this, let's just cover the whole aspect pattern in its entirety as we move on to tomorrow's forecast. And as we move on to Wednesday, April 2nd, we're going to open with a minor hard aspect between Mars and Neptune. It's called a sesquiquadrate, or if you prefer, a sesquisquare. It's 135 degrees. I sometimes call this a square and a half. And we've got Mars here at 21 Libra and Neptune at 6 Pisces. Diffused or misguided actions are among the more challenging possibilities of this aspect, but staying connected to your flow of inner guidance can help you do the right thing at the right time, especially in the areas of relationship and creativity. Also today, another interesting aspect, Mercury quincunx Mars. Mercury is at 21 Pisces, Mars is at 21 Libra, and I'm going to join this interpretation with another Mercury aspect today. This time Mercury is at 22.5 Pisces and Saturn is at 22.5 Scorpio. So be sure there is a filter between your brain and your mouth to avoid misstatements and warlike words with Libran Mars quincunx Piscean Mercury. But this aspect can also support the translation of intuitively inspired thought into harmonious action. A stabilizing trine between Mercury and Saturn helps smooth out the quincunx. And then, also on this day, we have the highlight of the week, the peaking of a T-square involving the Sun, Jupiter, Uranus, and Pluto. The 5-month Jupiter-Uranus-Pluto T-square, it began in late December, it will run through May. It reaches another crescendo as one of its enhanced versions, featuring the Sun, sustains its highest intensity. The Aryan Sun's radiation of initiation, inventiveness, appropriate sexuality, adventurousness, and striving for a worthy cause started on March 26, peaks today, and ends on April 10th. More challenging manifestations of this aspect pattern could include sudden anger, foolishly impulsive action, and inappropriate sexual behavior. And what do I mean by appropriate and inappropriate? My definition is it serving the highest good of everyone involved? And that's as far as I take that. Focusing your energy into the more life-affirming qualities of Aries, as described in the previous statement I made, can help minimize these less desirable manifestations. Astrology is fundamentally neutral. What happens with the planets is neither good nor bad. It's all raw material. You shape it through your intention and your actions. That's why I'm here, not to predict a concrete outcome, but to clue you in to the raw material you have to work with so you can get the most desirable outcome. Pretty simple. Also today, we have a Sun-Uranus conjunction in Aries. Both planets are around 12.5 Aries. And this isolated individually would be emphasizing new beginnings and embodying your authentic personality, following your intuitive flashes, and serving the collective with your unique gifts. And of course, this is also part of that T-square I was just talking about. On Thursday, April 3rd, we open with a void of course moon that is kicking in at 2:44 a.m. right there. And then we also today have a Sun-Pluto square. This is with the Sun at 13.5 Aries and Pluto's at 13.5 Capricorn. So unto itself, this square between Pluto and the Aryan Sun calls for powerful new beginnings in personal transformation and blissful surrender to your inner divine power. This square is part, of course, of that that T-square with the Sun, Jupiter, Uranus, and Pluto that I spoke of a moment ago, and that peaked yesterday. And we also have the resolution of the void moon I mentioned a moment ago, as the moon enters Gemini, and that's happening at 7:48 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. The moon in Gemini is great for learning, communicating, being a bit of a prankster perhaps, although I totally missed my April Fool opportunity, didn't I? Not much of a prankster today. And also being a little more childlike and spontaneous, all good Geminian qualities. On Friday, April 4th, we open with Mercury quintile Pluto. Mercury is at 25.5 Pisces, Pluto's around 13.5 Capricorn. A quintile, by the way, is 72 degrees, that's 1/5 of the circle. So, your thinking can enjoy enhanced creativity and inspiration under this aspect. Pretty straightforward interpretation. And then we've got another T-square this week, and this one is more potent than the other. It's Mars, Uranus, Pluto. We first felt this T-square that rekindles today during late December and the first half of January. This is what I wrote about it at that time. Avoid accidents and conflict by exercising extra caution and avoiding dangerously volatile situations. But this aspect is rocket fuel if you're ready for big changes, major breakthroughs, and quantum leaps. Now, this was a potent aspect pattern back around the beginning of the year, but it's coming back even stronger this time. These planets join with Jupiter this Monday, April 7th, to form a cardinal grand cross, which will create 2014's most powerful astrological event when the grand cross peaks on April 22nd. I will have much more to say about that in the coming weeks. But back to just this T-square involving Mars, Uranus, and Pluto. It's going to peak twice on April 23rd and June 19th before wrapping up on July 3rd. How could that be, you ask? Well, it's because retrograde. See, Uranus and Pluto are fairly stable in their positions, but Mars went forward into the pattern back at the beginning of the year. It put on the brakes and retrograded, and now it's coming back for the retrograde T-square. It'll go a little further, stop again, and then we'll come forward one last time to make the third T-square in June. So that's how we can have the same pattern 3 times, as Mars just flips back and forth. Now, stability may be elusive during this 3-month T-square, but opportunity will abound for the bold. And hopefully, opportunity will abound for the bald, too. On Saturday, April 5th, we have Venus entering Pisces. She's going to be there through May 2nd, supporting a deeper connection with your divine self, inspired creativity, and a deeper soul connection with those you're close to. Next up on this day, a void of course moon kicking in at 4:31 p.m., followed shortly thereafter by the resolution of the void as the moon enters Cancer at 5:40 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Void moons basically try not to start major new stuff or make major purchases while the moon is void. Kind of the same advice as we would give for a Mercury retrograde. On Sunday, April 6th, we end with a whimper. We sort of started the week with a whimper, not much on Monday and not much on Sunday either. We simply have a Moon-Jupiter conjunction kicking in around 5:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. When the Moon and Jupiter get together about once a month, it's a nice time for expansion, joy, celebration, or perhaps you might be interested to poke into religion or philosophy or the meaning of life or something to do with foreign countries or cultures. As we look forward to next week's forecast, two grand crosses are the stars of the show. The first one is the Big Kahuna, Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, and Pluto, kicking in on April 7th, as I mentioned already in this video forecast. It'll be peaking on April 22nd and fading by May 9th. And we're going to talk about the grand cross involving those four planets and Mercury, because Mercury is going to sneak across and form a fifth planet temporarily in that configuration. I'll tell you what all that means when we talk. We're also going to talk about a Venus-Neptune conjunction, the Sun opposing Mars and quincunxing Saturn, Mercury's entry into Aries, Pallas Athena going direct, and more besides. Thanks so much for watching this video forecast. Again, this is Benjamin Bernstein with astroshaman.com. I'm an astrologer, a shamanic healer, and an awakening activator. And if I can ever be of service, please do let me know. All of my contact information and information about what I do is on astroshaman.com. Thanks so much for watching. Until next week, I wish you infinite blessings as the stars light your way.